I always like to start with something interesting. And I got an email the other day from Robert in Alabama. And he actually said this to me. Hey, Kim, love the show, love the podcast. Thank you, Robert. We love you too. Is it okay that I still use Internet Explorer? Because I'm so used to it, I don't want to get rid of it. Okay. Well, Robert, where were you 25 years ago? Okay, just think about it. That was when Microsoft first released Internet Explorer, and they actually killed it off on June 15th of 2022. So, Robert, you should not be using Internet Explorer at all. I mean, you're going to be using Edge. You probably are using Windows XP, which means that you need to get rid of that too. Just a little word wise. But it reminds me of an old joke. It was a chilly day in spring when a woman answered her front door to a child holding a plastic pumpkin by the handle. And the little child says, "Trick or treat." And the woman says, "You're a little late on this one, sweetie. Halloween was many months ago." She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was dressed up as Internet Explorer." Exactly. All right. Hey, joining us here on Kim Komando today, every Friday it's a podcast, a little bit different than the Monday through Thursday podcast, because on Friday we like to call it Tech Refresh. And it's your show about all things digital, and it gives us a chance for all of you to learn more about, well, first of all, our amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. And Ali, what pearls of wisdom are you going to be sharing with us today?
Well, on the bad news side, I have got a hidden danger in your browser. But on the fun side, a couple little holiday tricks you can use with your smart speaker.
Oh, nice. So you're back to being Bad News Alley?
Unfortunately, but just for the news, just a
little bit. All right, and then as always, we have our magnificent millennial and our very own internet scout, Matthew Heffel. And how are you going to be wowing our listeners today, Matt?
I'll be talking about how Amazon is finally getting Venmo, as well as the part 2 of my weight loss journey using tech, and a test to see if you're smart enough to be in the FBI.
Oh.
Ooh, I like that. All right, so we're going to launch this rocket with first the news. These are important tech developments to keep you in the know. And since this is a podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you guys and gals some podcast news, okay? And it's all about Spotify, because Spotify says that they now have total monthly users in Q3, 456 million users on the platform. Okay, that's up 20% year over year. Now, how many podcasts do you think are available on Spotify? How many different podcasts? I mean, think about it. Anything from chameleon hunters to crime mysteries to whatever it may be. How many different podcasts? Throw a number out.
20,000.
10,000.
Wow, you guys are way low.
Ooh.
Okay. 4.7 million.
What?
Wow.
Are available on Spotify. It was last quarter, it was 4.4 million. So now they're up to 4.7 million. And now they also are seeing double-digit growth in podcast revenues. Now, the reason why I bring this up, because I find this, as a small business owner, I find this incredibly interesting that Spotify is still not producing any profits.
Wow.
Okay, so they have 4.7 million podcasts.
Yeah.
Seeing double digit in podcast revenue, and they're still not making any profits. They're still in the red. Premium subscribers, they account for most of the company's revenue, grew to 195 million, topping an estimate of 194 million. So they have 193 million subscribers, 4.7 million podcasts, and they are not making any money. Okay.
Is it because they pay Joe Rogan so much?
Ooh, good question.
You know what? That's probably it. Spotify says they're going to be increasing their prices, just so
Shocker.
if you are a Spotify member. And the co-founder, Daniel Ek, said in a conference call this past week, when our competitors are raising their prices, this is really good for us, too. Yes, it is. Speaking of Spotify, if you're on Netflix, I don't know if you've seen this show yet. It's only 6 episodes. It's called The Playlist. And it's really a fascinating look about how Daniel Ek started Spotify.
Oh,
and
cool.
it really started because of his rejection. Now, Mark Zuckerberg's rejection was over a girl, but Daniel Ek's rejection is that he wanted to get hired by Google so badly. And they interviewed him, and they would never hire him. He interviews, they never hire him. So he got so ticked off that he's like, you know what? I'm going to show you, Google, what I can do, and I'm going to do better than the Pirate Bay. So here he is in charge of Spotify.
Wow.
So again, if you're on Netflix and you're looking for something to watch, it's called The Playlist. I will warn you, it's a Swedish series, which means you have to read subtitles. But after the first couple minutes of subtitles, you're like, okay, well that it's really not all that bad.
All right.
All right, so Matt, you're up next. Amazon and Venmo. What's going on with that?
Yeah. First question: do you guys have a Venmo? Do either of you have a Venmo that you use regularly,
Yes.
or you ever have friends over? Right. You ever have friends over and you order a pizza and everybody's like, "Oh, I'll pitch in for the pizza," and somebody Venmos you, and then you forget about it, right? Then a few months later, you go back in your Venmo account and there's just money sitting in there that you totally forgot about, right? And you're like, "Oh,
And you're like,
found
wow,
money."
that's nice.
I think Allie summed it up when I was talking to her about this yesterday. She says it's like digitally finding a $20 in a pocket of a pants you haven't worn in a while.
Exactly. I bet if I open my Venmo, there's going to be money hiding there that I completely forgot about. Yep.
Well, as opposed to having to transfer that into your bank, paying the 1.8% or waiting 3 days for the money, you can now use it on Amazon.
Ooh.
That's right. Amazon has officially announced that they will be including Venmo as part of their payment options. They started rolling it out this week, and it'll be fully available to everyone by Black Friday, of course.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty simple to set up. You just go into payment options and it's already a button in there. It'll say Venmo. You click on it. You link your Venmo account. It'll authorize your Venmo account, send an email to yourself, do the two-factor authentication, send a text to your phone. And then you can set it up and it's that easy. And then you can use that money that you just found in your Venmo account for all your Christmas shopping.
This sounds like a tip for me.
I'm glad that you actually talked about the security, because that would be like the first question that any of our listeners would have, or viewers. I mean, is this really safe to hook the two accounts together, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is another whole thing that you have to be careful of. So it does add that kind of inability to be able to keep your eye on one thing at a time. So if you have a ton of money in your Venmo account, this might not be the best option for you. But if you just have, $50, $100 in there and you just kind of want to spend it on something really quick for a niece or a nephew or somebody that you're trying to get something for Christmas, it's really easy.
If you're at the Vatican, they don't let you use Venmo. Not at all. You have to use PayPal. Like PayPal.
When I was researching this, did you know that Venmo or PayPal owns Venmo? They're the parent company of Venmo.
Yeah, PayPal, they have their little tentacles in a lot of
PayPal
different
owns a
things.
lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Uber. I was reading about something about Uber this morning, and they own Drizzly. I had no idea that they own Drizzly. That's the alcohol delivery service. Oh. It's like, oh, yeah, had no idea. All right, so Allie, you're up next. Oh, bad news, Allie. Here she is again.
I'm back. Okay, I have a new term for you. Malvertising. Any guesses what that means?
Malvertising. Advertising malware?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's malicious advertising, which, can get you in lots of ways. Often we talk about that on social media. You click an ad and it's something that seems great and it's really not. But in this case, all these ads are spreading through Google Chrome extensions, and combined they have about 1 million downloads.
Ooh.
So,
gosh.
Yeah, there are a lot of these out there. A cybersecurity firm called Guardio Labs did research on this, and they caught about 30 extensions that basically hijack your web searches, and they add affiliate links into websites. So let's back up a little bit so we're all on the same page. Extensions are basically just add-ons for your browser that add some new functionality. In this case, there's about 30, and really they're designed for helping you customize the color of your browser, which sounds pretty harmless, but these are very much not harmless. There are things like action colors, power colors, mega colors, all the names are like that. And in the Chrome store or in the Edge store, they look perfectly fine. And that's because the malicious code, it's not actually in the app itself or the extension itself. Once you download it and start using it, you get sent to a different site. So basically you're watching a video, you're trying to download something, and a little pop-up comes up that says, you have to okay this browser extension. Once you do, it installs this malicious code on your computer, and it sends you to these sites. It hijacks your web searches, sends you to sites where it's basically an ad network. So they're getting money for the ad impressions. They're also in commerce sites. So when you buy something, the people behind these malicious extensions get a cut of the money. They get some commission. It's a real big mess. So these extensions are not in the Chrome store anymore. Luckily, you can't download them, but it's worth going in and checking your browser. But what about, the next batch of bad extensions like this, what should you do? Well, for one, you should only ever download something directly from the official store. So the Chrome extension store, the Microsoft Edge add-on store. If you do it, if you get one of those pop-ups, we see them all the time that says, do you want to install this extension? Don't do it. It's very likely trying to install something in your browser that you really don't want.
So, Allie, you said you have to go into your browser extensions and look for the ones. How do you know which ones are the bad ones?
Oh, yeah.
We, luckily, on Komando.com, we've got a full list of all these.
Oh.
They all have names with something color. So that's your first clue. If you see something color, amazing color, mega color, whatever. But go over to the website. We've got the whole list. If you search Chrome extension, you'll find it.
And then, Allie, are you going to do Chrome and Windows 7? Or...
Oh, sorry, I completely forgot about that.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. And one more browser note. If you are still using Windows 7, which maybe our friend who's using Internet Explorer is, right?
Robert in Alabama, we are talking to you. Yes.
Robert, okay.
Robert.
If you're still on Windows 7, you're actually not going to be able to use Chrome anymore. As of early 2023, they are saying no more Chrome support for Windows 7. So another reason, if you haven't switched over, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important. I guess I was into numbers today because I was really interested in all those Spotify numbers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it got me thinking, how many people are actually in the metaverse? Because, when we start talking about it, everybody's all excited about the metaverse. Well, not everybody.
Wow.
The guy who
Mark
invented
Zuckerberg.
the Oculus headset. Yeah, he's the only one that's
He's it.
excited about
That's
it. But the guy who invented the Oculus headset that Facebook bought, he actually said the metaverse is boring. He doesn't know why anybody want to go there. So I did some research. So you've got other companies like Meta, and I'll tell you how many daily active users they have. But there are two other metaverses, Decentraland and Sandbox. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. They're pretty popular. They have a market cap of over $1.2 billion.
Wow.
So these are metaverses that competed with the metaverse. So these are different metaverses. Okay, so Decentraland, as I said, and Sandbox valued at $1.2 billion. How many daily active users do you think are at Decentraland? How many daily active users? Okay, remember, they're worth $1.2 billion.
5,000?
Yeah,
low.
this is going to be shockingly low. I'm going to say, I'll say, I don't know, 50,000.
Okay. 379.
What?
Not 1,000, just
Yes.
379.
Yes, okay, wait. And Sandbox, 616 daily active users.
Killing it, Sandbox.
Worth billions.
Okay. Meta, just to let you know, they have projected that by this time they should have over 500,000 daily active users. Okay. I'll give you a hint. They have more than Decentraland and Sandbox. They're close to 200,000 daily active users. Okay. Which, when you think about it, it's really not that many people when you are going into this bank of 1 billion users every single day on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think Zuck ought to go back to just writing poetry. I mean, it's the only metaverse that might work out at this point, I'm telling you. Hey, listen, coming up, we have some party tricks, some tech tricks that you're going to want to know. Like, for example, I'm going to be telling you about the hidden perks of a Prime membership. And then, of course, we have the What the Heck headline of the week you don't want to miss, because this one is, well, it's about a TikTok star that went viral and then his phone rang. And I'll tell you more about that. And then Matt is our internet scout, and he's going to tell us what we can do to get hired by the FBI. And Allie's got some buying guides. And Allie, your joke at the end, scale of 1 to 10, what are you thinking?
I like this one. All right, I'm going to give it a 7.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a
Solid chuckle.
solid 7, which
Yeah.
means, so it's a chuckle. It's not going to be like a ha, ha, ha.
No.
Falling out of our chairs.
No. But
Yes.
you'll chuckle.
No LOLs. All right, so stay right where you are with us here on Tech Refresh. Hey, welcome back to Tech Refresh. It's your weekly fun podcast about all things digital. And, every single day I read every single email that gets sent to me. And I have to tell you, a lot of these questions that are just not simply we cannot answer here on Tech Refresh. We can't answer them on a website. You need somebody to hold your hand. but you need tech support that you can trust, right? I mean, the worst thing you do is just Google online tech support because then you will get scammed. I guarantee it. So when you need hand holding, whether it's for Windows, your printer, your Wi-Fi, your smart speaker, whatever it is in your tech universe, I want you to go to getkimshelp.com. Once again, that's getkimshelp.com. And these are tech experts that I know and I trust. And that means you can trust them too. They can remotely fix just about anything. And if they don't fix your problem, there's no cost. That's it. And it's super affordable. And you can get that support that you need, again, that you can trust over at getkimshelp.com. Once again, the address is getkimshelp.com. All right, so let's talk about some little known perks of having an Amazon Prime membership, because Amazon Prime, it's not cheap, right? I mean, it's $15 a month. Think about that.
It's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start taking advantage of it. So here are some deals that you might not know about. Like, for example, if you go to Whole Foods, because Amazon owns Whole Foods, is that you get discounts of up to 20% on select items. And you want to find things that have the blue Amazon stickers, and then you get automatically 20% off. Yellow tags. That means further savings. Yay, cha-ching. That means you get another 10% off. Oh. So you could save up to 30% by using your Amazon Prime membership at Whole Foods. Okay, number 2 on our list. Who's ready for some football? That's right. Amazon Prime now has football. I don't watch football, so.
I do.
Do you guys watch football?
No.
I do. I watch a lot of football.
Do you?
Oh,
I do,
really?
yeah.
I didn't know that. Football's the one sport I can't get behind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so who's your favorite team, Matt?
Well, I'm an Arizona boy, so obviously the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. My whole joke was that I was talking to some friends of mine, and I said I went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And Andrew looked at me and goes, "That was the most wasted ticket in Super Bowl history." I was like, okay, yeah, sorry about that. There's Prime Reading that is kind of like Kindle Unlimited, but you get different type of books and you can read and listen to things like that. Amazon Prime RX Savings, that's relatively new. They say you can save up to 80% on your prescription drugs, and you print out an Amazon card. But you want to make sure that you don't use it with your insurance, because insurance won't cover your prescription if you use the Amazon card. So sometimes it's cheaper to use the Amazon card than to charge it against your insurance. Amazon Photos, unlimited photos, that's pretty awesome. Audible Premium Plus, thousands of audiobooks and originals, they say. Try before you buy. That's where you have 7 days to try on clothing. So if you're like me and you buy things like in 2 sizes, I'll buy like a 4 and a 6 to see which one fits me better. Is that now you just can buy one and then you can try it on before you even buy it.
I didn't know about that. That's helpful.
So
it's cool.
Yeah, so there's some little Amazon Prime perks that you might not know about. But why do Amazon Prime drivers make terrible comedians? Why do they just make terrible comedians? Okay.
Why?
Because their delivery takes 2 days. Oh. So, Matt, we are so proud of you, even though you don't look like you need to lose any weight. But if you feel like you're going to feel better by losing weight, we're happy for you. We're behind you. And so last week you talked about the nutrition apps.
Yes.
And so today you're talking about the Get Up and Go apps, right?
Yeah. I've been really trying to push myself and try to do more exercise. Everybody can take a diet on, but if you're not doing anything with your body, if you're not moving around or trying to track what you're doing, then it's kind of hard to lose the weight or to feel healthy without having to do anything. So I was like, okay, I've got to get into exercise apps or just tracking steps apps. And a lot of our phones have those built in. If you have an Android or an Apple, you have a built-in fitness app. If you're not using it, you should definitely be trying out. The one for Android is called Google Fit. Do you use this, Allie?
I don't, because I have a Fitbit.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
I use that. But yeah, it's in there. I think a lot of people don't know you don't have to have a watch
Absolutely
to track
not.
your steps. You just,
Exactly.
keep your phone in your pocket.
Yeah, this is really nice. It'll track your steps, and you can even track your calories by putting in your body weight, putting in your height, and it'll track approximately how many calories you're burning through the steps. It'll track how many flights of stairs you're climbing, and it'll track even small things like how far apart your steps are, so that you can make sure that the cadence of your step is on point, which is helpful if you've ever had an injury in a leg or in a back. Sometimes people will walk weird, and then that can be hurtful. So this can actually help you with that. A lot of those same features are now in the Apple Fitness app, which before the big update, big iOS 16 update, all this information was in the Apple Health app, but they pushed it to the Fitness app and have now been pushing that Fitness app on the iPhone to people that don't necessarily have an Apple Watch or a smartwatch connected to that device. So that's very helpful, and it'll give you little motivational trackers throughout the day that I really like. I got this one the other day. It said, you didn't meet your goal yesterday, but that's okay. Just keep going. And I was like, oh, thanks. Thanks, Apple Fitness. I appreciate the support. But other than those of just tracking your steps, one thing that I found is there's tons of little 10, 15, 7-minute workout apps on the App Store. Now, I want you to be cautious. If you want to download one of these, there's about 100 of them on the App Store, and you got to be careful. So I went through and I found ones that are relatively safe. Most of them, the only downside to them is they have ads, but there are some that seem very malicious. So if you want to get into these, make sure you're double checking. I found one that was just called 7-minute mini workouts. And it's on the App Store. It has about 150 reviews. I went through all of the reviews. It seems pretty safe. And it just gives you an ad before you start the workout. But I've been doing that every day. It just gives you a 7-minute workout, times it, and it'll speak out loud, say, okay, now you do crunches for 30 seconds. And then you do those crunches for 30 seconds. And then it'll say, take a 10-second break. And then you do jumping jacks for 30 seconds. And you'll do that every day. It's a 7-minute workout. So if you don't feel like going to the gym, you can get up and do something.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and 7 minutes, that's enough to get your heart going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to work out for an hour.
Yeah, you don't want to lay on the couch then and eat a bag of Cheetos right afterwards because you're so exhausted.
Yeah, I know. Kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Exactly.
People say, you know, and I exercise every single day.
Yeah.
And if I don't, then I feel like blah. Although sometimes I do, maybe there's a Friday or a Thursday where I'm just tired.
Sure.
And that's where you have to listen to your body. You're just like, okay, today is the day that we're just going to kind of not sit on the couch and eat Cheetos, but we're not going to go crazy.
Take it easy.
Thing.
I think building a routine is really helpful. And I think that's why tech is so important. And so many people are using it now for their weight loss journeys, is because you constantly have this device in your hand, in your pocket, in your purse. And having it remind you and keep that accountability to your actions is super helpful. So that's been really helping me.
Nice.
You know, that's a really good point. Is that because we do have it on our person all the time.
Yeah.
And so if it's going to sit there and kick our butt, hey, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
All right. So how much weight have you lost?
I'm down 4 pounds in about 3 weeks.
Very nice.
Not bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what's the goal?
About 20 pounds by about March of next year. It's a
Okay.
little bit rushed, but we'll see.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it, Matt. We know. We know you can. All right. So, Allie, now you're good news, Allie.
Good news,
With some
Allie.
smart speaker stuff, right?
Yeah, it got down to about 50 degrees in Phoenix the other day.
yeah, it
So
did.
I'm ready to say the holiday season is approaching. Finally feels appropriate to me. So I thought I would give a few fun ways that you can use your smart speaker in the next few months. Okay, the first one. The time of year is approaching when we all have a lot of packages arriving, and you don't want your Echo to spoil the surprise, right? So make sure you go in to turn off those delivery notification announcements, because it would be a real bummer
Oh, yeah.
if it said, hey, your spouse's present is arriving, and then, the surprise is done. So go into the app, you're gonna look at the delivery notifications and turn those off. A nice one for a family gathering. So instead of fighting about politics or whatever it is you and your family fight about, you don't have to do that. You can use your smart speaker to give you guys something to do. So you can say, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to set off your speaker if you're listening with one. Help me play Trivial Pursuit. I want to play Name That Tune. I want to play Would You Rather. You can play all these fun little games. You don't have to get out a board game. You don't have to find the lost dice. You can just do something quickly together with your family. And then my favorite, if you have little kids in the family, I think this is so fun, you can track Santa. NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, they have been tracking Santa's journey from the North Pole since the 50s. And they actually have an Alexa skill. So to enable it, you just have to say, enable NORAD tracks Santa. And then after that, you can ask for Santa facts. You can say, where is Santa right now? You can say, when will Santa get to my house? And you'll get lots of cute answers and Christmassy facts.
That NORAD Santa, I remember Ian was probably around 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just determined to stay up so that he could see Santa. I mean, he was just, and it was maybe 11 o'clock. And I'm like, Ian, you need to go to bed. Santa will not come. I mean, unless you're in bed. And then I showed him on the map that Santa was approaching Phoenix, and it was on the line. And I said, you know what? Let's call NORAD. Let's call them because you can call them.
Oh.
And a real person answers. So we called, and I said, and I think the guy was a captain in the Air Force because they announced who they are. And I said, I'm having trouble. We're in Phoenix, and Santa's coming. And my son Ian he wants to see Santa, and I had him on speakerphone, and he said, "Is he in there?" And I said, "Oh yes, he's just standing right here. We're on speaker." And he said, "Ian, this is Captain Morgan. You have got to go to bed. I have insider knowledge that if you are not in bed, let me check the time. And the coordinates. Ooh, longitude, latitude. Oh, let me do the math. Ian, if you are not in bed within 3 minutes, you're going to miss out." He's like,
What?
Ian's like, "What? I better go to bed. I'm on my way." And I'm like, "Thank you, Captain Morgan."
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Oh,
You know what?
man.
So, yes. So if you have any issues, just keep in mind you actually can call and speak to a real human being and tell them what your dilemma might be at that particular time. If you like quick tips, just a reminder, get our Daily Tech Update podcast. Every single day you get a tech update news item and as well as a digital life hack. And so wherever you get your podcast, just search for Komando with a K, of course. All right, coming up in just a few moments, our What the Heck headline of the week. So funny. You don't want to miss it. We have our buying guide this week, and it's all about e-readers and Kindles. And Allie at the end has a really, truly funny joke that you're not going to want to miss. So stay with us. Hey, welcome back to Tech Refresh. It's your fun weekly podcast delivered every single Friday about all things digital as part of the Kim Komando Today podcast, because Monday through Thursday you get me only, and then on Fridays we have the whole gang here. We have Matt and Allie. And speaking of Matt and Allie, we spend a lot of time putting together our newsletters. And so if you're not already getting our free newsletters on Windows, Mac, Android, whatever it may be, make sure that you head over to komando.com/subscribe. Once again, that's komando.com/subscribe. We're not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody ever. No, 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 no. We don't do that. You can trust us. Komando.com/newsletters. All right. So our What the Heck headline of the week goes like this. Kentucky TikTok star lands CSI Vegas role for posing as a dead body for 321 days. Okay. That's right. The guy's 42 years old, and what he would do since October 2021, every day he would pose dead on his TikTok channel. And he has, about 118,000 followers.
What?
And he would initially put blood on him and then lay on the street or whatever it may be.
Oh my gosh.
And really try to control his breathing. And so this was his goal, was to figure out how he can pose dead. So one of his videos, his unalive TikTok videos, as he says, went viral, and it got over 4 million likes. And so CBS producers got a hold of him and said, "Hey, would you like a job on CSI as posing as a dead person?"
Wow.
Okay. And this guy is an actor, but he doesn't really like to act.
He just likes to lay down.
So, yes, so just posing as a dead person lets him be an actor without speaking and getting nervous in front of a camera. He says, "At first you could see me breathing, and then my fake blood looked really bad. But I've gotten rid of using the blood, and I've gotten really much better at holding my breath." So off to CBS in Los Angeles he goes to film CSI. They spend 2 hours putting makeup on him because he has all these stitches and blood from one shoulder to the other shoulder and one right down the center. And let me tell you, he's not a little man. He's a big guy. He's probably about at least 300 pounds. Okay. So they've got a lot of makeup to do. So he's laying there in the gurney. And after 2 hours in the makeup chair, and all the cameras are running, and you know what a video production is like. And they're taping the scene, and the actors are going, yes, talking over his dead body. And his cell phone rings in his pocket.
Oh, no.
And he takes his cell phone out, and he says, "Hello." And it was a telemarketer. I kid you not.
Of course it was.
Okay, so a couple of fun facts. If you're ever going to act, maybe don't put your phone on your person, the one of those things.
At least put it on
reminds me of
silent.
this. Yeah, exactly. Or don't even put it, leave it in the makeup room. But this was so funny. The other day, Barry had his AirPods in, and we were in the kitchen, and this is all I hear. "Oh, hang on a second. hang on a second. And then he goes, oh, yeah. Yeah. What are you wearing? What are you wearing? Ooh. And then I look, I go, WTF, mate? What is going on? He says, that's a telemarketer. He said, that's how it was the funniest thing. Never would have thought of doing that. Like, oh, what are you wearing?
Oh, incredible.
Love that.
Speaking of the internet, what do we got going on with the FBI from our favorite internet scout, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Another week, another really weird viral TikTok, right? So recently a TikTok went viral and it was a guy just reading a riddle out loud. And at the very end, he says, if you can solve this riddle, then you're smart enough to join the FBI. And we can all collectively eye roll. But the riddle had got everybody solving it in the comments. So I went to the comments and started looking at them and a bunch of people solved it. So I thought I'd read it to you guys and all the audience listening at home and see if you can solve it. Okay. A man and a woman go out for drinks on their first date. It's a blazing hot summer day, so while the man and the woman are waiting for their meals, they are both served a glass of ice water. The woman is sweating a ton and is extra thirsty, so she chugs down 3 glasses of ice water right at the start, whereas the man only takes small sips from his ice water throughout the meal. Later that day, the man texts the woman that he's violently ill and feeling extremely weak. Before midnight, the man is pronounced dead by police. The woman is brought in for questioning and is found out that both her and the man's drinks were poisoned. Why is it that the man died and the woman is still alive? So if you're listening right now and you want to take a minute, give it a pause, think about it for a moment, and then unpause and I'll give you the answer, all right? Okay. The answer is that the poison was in the ice. And the fact that she drank it really, really quickly, then the ice didn't melt, and he drank it slowly, so the ice had time to melt, right?
And if you guessed it, you're now an FBI agent. Congrats.
That's how that works now, apparently.
That's awesome.
Right.
Thanks to TikTok.
Yeah, thousands of people were getting the right answer on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, this is insane, because not only were people getting the right answer, they're thinking, oh man, I'm now smart enough to be in the FBI. So I went and did some research. Not that simple, in fact, to join the FBI. It's just not a single riddle on a TikTok to join the FBI. So to actually join the FBI, it's a years-long process that takes months of testing and personality tests and a whole bunch of other things. But if you were still curious and you took that riddle and you got it right and you're thinking, oh, I'm ready to join the FBI, I'm smart enough, there are some practice tests on their website.
Ooh.
If you go to FBIjobs.gov, they actually have a whole PDF that has the whole process of applying, a list of practice tests and practice questions you can take. So if you're interested and you think that you can join the FBI, there you go.
What kind of questions are there?
Yeah.
You know, they're basically long analytical questions.
Okay.
There was one that was about antelopes and quails, and you had to add them up in order, and it was all confusing. I thought about reading one to you guys, but I couldn't find one short enough. I think we would have been here for at least 20 minutes.
It sounds like the SATs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? They don't even count those scores anymore. I'm really disappointed by that.
They don't?
They don't?
No, not really.
Oh, man.
Because they said during COVID, like the kids weren't taking the I don't know. It's just this whole long thing. But it's just kind of like maybe a sign of the times. But it's just still Ian's studying for the LSAT.
Yeah.
Hey.
And that seems to be a lot of logic. He's kind of stressed out of it. I'm like, you know what? Chill out a little bit. Just, chill out.
Take this one riddle and join the FBI. Easy as that.
Exactly. Maybe I should pass along that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you're not already following us on social media, you're missing out. Head over to Instagram.com/KimCommando. Stop ghosting me already, all right? Twitter.com/KimCommando. Facebook, you know what the drill is, /KimCommando. Because, this is a great way to keep up to date during the week and during the weekends on all things digital. So, again, follow us on social media. Hey, coming up, we have a terrific buying guide and a joke at the end, and that's going to make you real. And a joke at the end that's going to make you laugh so hard, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I love Tech Refresh, right, Allie?
No pressure.
Hey, welcome back to Tech Refresh. It's your fun weekly podcast. We talk about everything, don't we? Talk about the internet, the gadgets, the gizmos. And that's why, you should make sure that you give us a nice rating and follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you never, ever want to miss an episode. Because when you follow or subscribe to a podcast, that episode gets delivered to you automatically, even in your sleep. That's right. So wherever you get your podcasts, search for Komando with a K, and then you want to hit that big old subscribe or follow button. All right. So it's a time of year, Al, where people are looking for gifts, things for their loved ones. And so often people want a Kindle. And there's so many different Kindles available. How many are there? I think, are there like a dozen or more?
There are so many Kindles. Yeah, I think you're about right. There are a lot. And a brand new batch of them just came out. And this was actually inspired by not someone buying a gift, but someone who wanted to buy for themselves. Which we fully support. It was actually an email from our buddy Ken, who listens to every Tech Refresh. So thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
He even said last week during the chat on your on the radio show, Kim, he told Matt how much he liked his dad jokes.
You did?
Yeah.
I appreciated it. Thanks, Ken.
So nice. Okay, so Ken emailed me and said, you talked about replacing your Kindle Paperwhite, and I'm hoping you'll keep us up to date because I thought it might be better to use a Kindle to read books than reading them on a tablet, which I do right now. He's got a Samsung Galaxy. So he said, when is the best time to buy a Kindle? I think I'd be willing to pay more to get the one without advertisements, unless there's an app that simulates having a Kindle Paperwhite on a tablet. Okay, a lot of questions here. We'll get to them all. So when is the best time? I would say wait till Black Friday. They are going to go on sale. Amazon loves to pump up its own products, so you're going to find them at the best deal then, including the brand new ones that were just released. Now, if you are a big reader, I would say a Kindle is going to be a better experience for you than a tablet. No app can truly get rid of the blue light, the glare, the brightness that a tablet or a phone has that the Kindle doesn't. That's my favorite thing about it. It's called the e-ink display, and really it's the closest thing to reading on paper. Have you ever tried to put your phone like as dim as it goes in a dark room and you're still like, please don't wake everyone up?
You're still like, it's still bright.
Yeah.
It's still bright.
Very much.
Well, a Kindle, if you put it on the lowest setting, it's almost too dark to read in a dark room, which I think is excellent. I keep mine on like 2 in a dark room and it's perfect. So I think it's better if you're a big reader. A new batch of Kindles just came out. Like I said, you can get, that means the older ones went on sale. You can get kind of the top of the line older model for around $100 right now.
That's not bad.
But you know what? If you really want to go for it, you're not going to need to buy one of these again for a really long time. I think I've had mine for like 8 years or something. So the new one,
a long time.
I know. Yeah, they last a long time. The new one has about 8 gigs of storage, which will hold a ton of books. It's got a little bit of a bigger screen. It's really thin. It's faster. The pages turn faster, all that stuff. It's about $140. Again, that will go down for Black Friday, so it'll get cheaper. Ken also mentioned ads versus no ads. Now, I will say, I've had this Kindle forever, and I have the ad version, and I've never been bothered by it. It's really just the lock screen that's trying to advertise books to you. So if that bugs you, fine, but don't think you're going to be reading a book and get an ad pop up. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, we're reading a book about golf, and all of a sudden you see how you need clubs. Balls.
Can you imagine? That would be awful. Yeah. So Ken, I would say if you're a big reader, yes, go for it on the Kindle. Wait till Black Friday. You'll find a great deal.
Well, and then we also have more of the buying guides, don't we, on the website, Allie? Why don't you go through some of those real quick?
Yeah, we have a ton. So if you are looking for what are the best headphones for me over the ear or earbuds, good monitors for your work from home setup. If you have been working on your same little laptop forever, we've got things like laptops. We've got really any tech product you can think of. We've got smart speakers. We've got, say you want a speaker that plays music in your house, but you don't want it to be able to hear what you say. We've got those Bluetooth speakers. So we've got just about every tech product out there. And if there's something we don't have that you're interested in, send us an email, podcasts@komando.com, and we'll get that up for you.
And then we're also putting together a lot of gift guides for the holidays.
Yeah.
And so if you're wondering, what's the best gift for somebody who has everything?
Yep.
What's the best gift for my mom, my dad, my sister, my niece, my nephew, whatever it may be? My dog, your cat, your parakeet. We have you covered. Maybe not the parakeet. Over at Komando.com, just hit that section called Buying Guides. All right. So, Allie, in this segment of Tech Refresh, you're like the twofer person.
Oh, it's all me.
It's all you. So it's your turn to make us all laugh out loud.
All right, let's go for it. I like this one. Okay, so an elderly couple, they're having dinner with friends, And after they eat, the wives get up, leave the table, and they go into the kitchen. And the two gentlemen are talking, and one of them says, "Last night we went to this new restaurant by our house. It's really good. You should try it." And the other man says, "Oh, what's it called?" And he sits there and he thinks and he thinks. And he finally says, "What's the name of that flower you give to somebody you love?" And the guy says, "A carnation?" And he said, No, it is red, but no, the one with thorns." And he says, "You mean a rose?" And he says, "Yes, that's the one." And then he turns toward the kitchen and yells, "Hey, Rose, what's the name of that restaurant we went to last night?"
That was pretty good.
That was good. That was pretty good. Good
I think
job,
it was a
Alan.
7.5. A little bit. I think you undersold it a little bit. I liked it.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
I was going to say 7.5, maybe even an 8 on that one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one and easy enough to
All right,
remember.
so it is. And so this is part of the podcast where we like to tell you things that you take away from us and things that we want you to know and remember. And I'll go first because, first of all, I just want everybody to know that an Amazon Prime membership, it is expensive. If it's $15 a month. And you do get that 2-day shipping, which especially now towards the holidays, you're probably going to take advantage of. But also, don't forget about all the other perks that you have. I mean, there's just a list of them. We have them over at Komando.com. And speaking of Amazon, just make sure you also search for, well, I know it's a shameless plug, is you search for Komando while you're on Amazon, because then our ebooks will pop up as well. All right, Matt, you go next.
I was thinking about this. If you have a Venmo and you forgot that you have a Venmo, go check your Venmo. There might be way more money in there than you think.
Or you can give us your Venmo.
Hey,
right? We'll take that.
Hey.
There you go. Venmo.com/KimCommit. No.
Something like, we could have that. Well, no, we're not going to go
No.
there. We're sorry. Okay, Allie?
Mine is Amazon related too. If you have an Echo and you are shopping for Christmas gifts on Amazon, go turn off those delivery notifications because you don't want to spoil the surprises. Do it now while you're thinking about it, because I promise you, November, whatever will come, a surprise will get ruined and you'll be mad at yourself. So go do it now.
Yeah, that's a good reminder because I've been thinking about that because you have an Echo in the kitchen. And I was looking at it this morning while I was making some tea, and it's like, you need to order more Super Beets and more vitamins. And I'm like, there's some things like maybe it shouldn't just pop up on the screen for your whole family to know that you ordered. You need to have reorder. I'm like, some of that might be a little sensitive type thing. So I'm going to turn that off as well. Hey, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us. And thank you, Allie and Matt, for doing a great job as always. And if you have any comments, anything you'd like us to cover, we do read every single email. Just send it to us at podcasts@Komando.com. Once again, that's podcasts@Komando.com. And we'll see you again right here next week.